Joining me right now, a comedian who you've seen on television shows like Seinfeld, King of Queens, and all the talk shows. He'll be coming down to the Tampa area this Friday and Saturday at Side Splitters, a comedy club. Great pleasure to welcome Dom Irrera to our show today. How are you, Dom?
Miles, how are you, my good man?
Good to talk to you again. Yeah, I had a chance to see you a couple of years ago out in Vegas. I guess it was the Irrera we were just talking about before we went on the air. And I know you make usually about a yearly trip down to Tampa Bay, don't you? To Side Splitters.
At least. You know, I was supposed to actually. He's a friend of mine, Bobby Jewell, the guy who runs the club, and I had to move a date because I was doing something for the NFL Super Bowl. So I was working. I was supposed to work there then, so we put it here. But yeah, I love coming down there. It's a great club.
You just came back from Australia. I was looking at your website there. How was that?
No,
have you been there before?
No worries. What'd you say?
So, have you ever been there before?
Yeah, I've been there before. I hadn't been there for a few years, though. It was a lot of fun. It went really well. I actually did a show called The Circle, which is like The View.
Okay, I've seen that on TV, yeah.
But it's like The View, but they're happy.
Yeah.
And instead of miserable, whining people, they're actually like each. They were singing before the show, right? The four of them. And I go, boy, I'll tell you, this ain't The View. Believe it, they don't sing before the show together. You know, so.
I think the other show, I just saw a clip, Kim Kardashian, I think, was just on that, and they were grabbing her butt or something I saw. Is that the same show?
Kim Kardashian, they were what?
Grabbing her butt. That was the show.
Oh, I heard about that.
It was Emma O'Reilly.
Yeah, that was the show.
They didn't grab your butt, did they, Dom? Or?
No, they didn't come near me. That's funny that you guys got that news here. Yeah.
Yeah, but now what is it like? Is it? I know people are think funny is funny everywhere, but is Australia a little bit different as far as when you do comedy, or?
No, we have such an advantage because they get our media. Like they see Seinfeld, they see The Sopranos, they see our movies and stuff. We don't get like any. And here in America, we don't get local Australian television or like their sitcoms and whatever they produce. So we have a real distinct advantage. It's not hard at all.
Of course,
they like us. They actually like us. Thank God there's somebody in the world that still likes Americans.
I was one of the few countries that does like us, don't they?
Yeah, the Irish and the Australians and the New Zealanders.
Well, you go to Ireland at least once a year, don't you, Dom? I know you're going there later this summer, right?
Yeah, I'm going there the weekend after Labor Day. I'm there for about 10 days. I love Ireland. Yeah, it's. Would you like a potato with your potatoes? They're fun people, man. I'll tell you what. I feel like I can drink till I go there, then I take a back seat to them. I tip my hat to them. It's the only place I've ever been called the wuss for going to bed at 5 o'clock in the morning. Where are you going, you little wuss? The sun's not even completely up. Yeah, it's a great country. It's fun, It's kind of fun to see comedy go into those countries and get laughs, with the same stuff that got me laughs in Philly and Miami and, in New York where I started out and all that stuff. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I once heard Bob Hope and Milton Berle, I think they were talking, or some interview I saw that in the old days you had to kind of tailor your material to whatever region of the country you were playing in, but now with television, I guess you don't have to do that anymore as much,
right?
I
mean, with the communication we have now between Twitter and, computers, cell phones, everything's immediate now. So, yeah, I mean, we all, like, just the fact that you said that they touched Kim Kardashian's butt in Australia a few weeks ago and you knew about it.
That's pretty sick, isn't it, that I would know that?
Well, yeah, I mean, think about the thing you used to have to sail there. Can you imagine? You're not going to make that trip many times if you're sailing. And, like, I was doing a sports radio for Philly from Australia, and the guy said to me, I talk about Americans not knowing geography. He goes, so are you guys affected by the ash there? I go, affected by the ash? Do you know how far Iceland is from Australia? I mean, did you ever see a globe? If we were affected by the ash, it would be called the end of the world.
Well, you mentioned doing TV shows, and I know you did Colin Ferguson, not Colin Ferguson, yeah, Colin Ferguson show not too long ago, and Craig Ferguson, I'm thinking Colin is a different guy. But what's that like doing? I guess there's not as much comedy on those shows anymore, where you get a chance to do your 5-10 minutes of stand-up and panel. Is that different nowadays?
No, not for me. I've been around for a while, and I'm lucky I've gotten on all those shows. And he's my favorite because he actually listens to you. you know, as opposed to like some of the guys, they're just reading cue cards over your head, you know. So it's pretty cool to do his show. I mean, I always know that he will back you up. You know, Louis Black, you know who he is?
Sure, great comedian.
Yeah, Lou's a friend of mine, and he was going on the show, and he wanted me to come with him, and I said, you're going to love this guy, because, you know, Lou's he's got an acting background like myself, and he said something about, well, you know, when he dies, he'd like to come back as a monkey. And as soon as he said that, Ferguson goes, yeah, monkey, that'd be cool, and he starts embellishing on it. Whereas one of the other guys that are going, monkey, nah, I want to be a zebra, you know, and like just kill the improv, you know, so it's cool.
Yeah, I've seen, we won't mention names, but there's certain talk shows now, some on cable that just have no clue anymore.
Oh, yeah, I know.
Makes it tough for comedians because, you know, you're trying to get into a bit and they just go into a different question. I know Jerry Seinfeld was on with somebody, the same thing, I guess. The interview asked him, you know, did your show go off by your choice or was it canceled? He said, I went off the #1 show. Can I get a resume in here? I don't know if you saw that interview. But
I didn't, who was it?
Larry King.
Oh, funny. Larry King called Ringo Starr George Harrison.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, if you don't know the Beatles by now, you're really out of American culture.
Yeah, I think Larry's got other issues going on currently.
Hey, boy, I was very proud of him a couple weeks ago. That's amazing. Here's your 8 heart attacks right here. I'll give you the 8 heart attacks.
Well, for those folks have not seen you at Side Splitters before, any comedy club, because you do a lot of material growing up, like I said, in the Philly area, and a lot of improv as well, a lot of off-the-cuff material. Do you constantly look for different things to talk about, Dom?
Oh, all the time. I mean, I'll tell you what, it's like panning for gold. It's hard. You know, it's really hard because, you know, you got to come up with something original. And don't forget, like, we're competing with all these talk shows you're talking about, and they have 10 writers each. So if I'm going to do a joke about a president, it better be a great one.
Mm.
You know what I mean? If you're going to do a joke about something like that, because you have so much competition. But, you know, and also live comedy is better than any. It's like you can't replace live comedy. No matter how many times you're on television, it's just not the same energy as being in a room and knowing things are extemporaneous and you're busting chops and people are laughing, you know. It's the best.
Yeah, I think we saw you out in Vegas, and you get a chance to interact with the crowd, and sometimes you can go off, do like 5 minutes if a guy maybe looks a little different in the front row or something. I mean, it adds that kind of spontaneity to it. You don't just get on television anymore.
Oh, yeah.
Which is great.
It's very cool.
Just before we wrap up, you mentioned Seinfeld, King of Queens before. Do people still come up to you and ask you if you're the prop comic?
It's unbelievable. You know, like 2 little parts that I had. One was the driver, a limo driver in The Big Lebowski. I was Tony. And it was right before Jeff Bridges got taken away and kind of roughed up a little. And that and Seinfeld. I had a airline steward come up to me. He goes, do my nostrils look big to you? This is about 7 o'clock in the morning. I go, I don't know, no. And he goes, then I realized he was doing the bit from Seinfeld.
Yeah.
And I was like, oh, no, man, I'm getting haunted with this. But actually, it's kind of cool, you know. I told Jerry, I told him how powerful it was, you know. He was kind of, you know, he was kind of glad that it gave all of his friends exposure like that, you know.
Where's my water pistol? I don't go on without my water pistol.
I'm an artist.
That's great. Well, if you want to get a chance to see Dom, it's this Friday and Saturday at Side Splitters up in Tampa. And Dom, always great to talk to you. Look forward to seeing you in person one of these days again. But thanks for being with us today.
Thanks, Miles. Good to talk to you and be well, man. Thank you.